We will now begin setting up our covering frame so that we can cover this airplane. So you'll have these two long pieces and the two shorter ones. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the two short ones and we will glue them in between the big long ones like so. Try to get this squared up as much as possible. This one's not going up quite right. There we go. Alright, there we go. Okay, so we've got our frame here. We're going to take some petroleum jelly, Vaseline, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to take a paper towel. We'll dip the paper towel in that, and we're going to rub this all the way around the frame. You want a fairly heavy coat of this. And there we go. Now the next thing we'll do is we'll set that frame aside for a minute. We'll pull up basically everything here. Get all the slimy off our hands. And then pull out your covering material. Now the piece of covering material that's in your kit is going to be larger than this. But what you want to do is you want to take your covering and you just want to wad it up. I know that sounds insane, but that's what we were doing. We were wadding this up. And just keep massaging it, because what we want to do is completely crinkle the entire surface of this covering. And then, once you're done, you straighten it all out and start smoothing it. Out from under the cover. There we go. Let's see. Nope. Alright, so what we're going to do is we'll slide it. Maybe not. Let's do it this way then. Drop this guy on here. Remember, with your covering, you've got to allow enough to use this frame, enough covering to fill this frame 3 times if you want to have a full 3 airplanes. And so that's Alright, so we'll go ahead and just score this with a sharp razor blade. And you can set aside the rest of your covering. Like I said, the piece that you'll have is bigger than that. But here's our covering for the airplane, and now what we want to do is kind of tighten it up a little on the covering frame. And if you notice, it tries to peel back in. The reason for that is static cling. Not all bad. Just spend some effort getting it nice and smooth. And now we'll set that aside. What we're going to do next is we're going to take our flying surfaces out and we're going to spray them with 3M Super 77 spray adhesive, and then we will come back in. Okay, so we've got our frames out here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to back up here, show you what's involved here, which is you want to stand downwind of this, I don't know where or upwind of it, so you want the wind going towards the frame, and all you're doing spraying the top of it here. And that's all you do. So that's a wing. Second wing here. You can cover the rudder on either side, just remember which side it is that you sprayed down. I'm covering the left side here. And that's all there is to it. Alright, so I did a no-no here, which is getting all this stuff kind of stuck together. At least the adhesive side is up. Stick these all together like so. And let's see. Oh yeah. Get this masking tape out of here though. And then you just carefully lay this guy down over here, making sure everything is inside the edges. And you do want to get a nice tight covering job. The airplane will fly much more efficiently with a good tight covering job. That does not mean heat shrink it afterwards, because you will not like the result if you do. And there we go. So now all we can have to do here this part's a little annoying. You have to sometimes actually go back with a pair of scissors to deal with some of the covering here. And I should mention, you really need a nice, sharp, fresh razor blade to do this. The big thing is you do want to get this covering cut close like this, because it does count as part of your cord, and since the constraints are really tight this year, real small surfaces, you don't want to go over. There we go. Alright, so that's clean all the way around. If you try to grab a hold of something to push it so the covering is tight, it cuts much easier. There we go. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is grab out a set of dihedral gauges here. And we'll slide tails out of the way. And so what you're going to do at each of these ribs, kind of come in here diagonally like this. Let me show you exactly what I'm doing. What I'm doing is outboard of that rib, I'm coming in here and cutting diagonally. So I'm going to do that at each one. Then I'll just crack those spars and lift my wingtips up like so. And then, actually before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put the glue in. And that's my old bottle of CA. Let's get a fresh one. And now, I'll get some CA accelerator. Try not to do what I just did, which is glue it to the plane. Oh. Well, thank goodness that one held. And there we go. Now go repeat that on your other wing, and then we will go back and try and tighten up the covering a little. Okay, so there is kind of a loose spot here in your covering, and you can kind of try to trap that over. If you squirt a little bit of CA in here, sometimes you can do this you can trap the covering over. So what I'm doing is squirting CA in, and then I'm from the underside pushing that covering back over. And try to go easy on this. CA is heavy, so it adds a lot of weight if you get a lot of it on here. There goes my wing floating off. I can't tell which side is looser here. Try and pinch it in from both sides here. I don't know what I'm doing. This rib broke loose when I tried to glue it. So I've got this kind of nasty effect going on here. Alright, and so now if you look, you can see the covering's back to being nice and tight across here. So go ahead and repeat that on your other wing, and then we'll come back. Our illustrious friends at Science Olympiad give a bonus for coloring one of your panels black with like a Sharpie or something. So come in with a Sharpie that is working better than mine and color it all black because reasons. I think it's supposedly to make the airplanes easier to see for the timers. What it really ends up is everybody's airplanes end up looking the same again, so it doesn't help at all. And my Sharpie is turning terrible, so somewhere before the end of this build video I will have to go back and do this with a Sharpie that's not terrible, because this Sharpie is just dead in the water completely. Found a Sharpie that's not dead in the water. All done. Looks kind of terrible, but oh well. That's what the rules say. Hi, I'm Josh Finn. This is Hope. We are J&H Aerospace.
If you like this video, hit the like button. Also, how about subscribe to our channel and check out jhaerospace.com for new free flight products and all of the tooling that you'll need to build them.
Thanks for watching.